prison guard cut off his collar and led him to the guillotine. Arthur remained expressionless. Detective Frank suddenly remembered that Arthur had many masks at home. Frank immediately stopped, but the knife had already severed Arthur's head. When Frank tore off the human skin mask, he was shocked to find that the one beheaded was actually Minister of Justice George. It turns out that not long ago, Angela had approached George, who was in a high position. Not only did he use his power to embezzle, but he was also a pervert who had long harbored bad intentions toward Angela. When Angela showed up, he immediately shut the door. Angela already knew his intentions, and through a bit of seduction, George was enchanted. He promised to do anything for her. Angela then pulled out a newspaper with the headline about Arthur's execution the next day. She said she wanted to meet this criminal. George quickly refused, fearing Arthur was a dangerous man. But seeing Angela's disappointed expression, he finally agreed with one condition: she had to accompany him. Angela smiled at this. The two then drove to the prison. George, using the excuse that Angela was a special agent, claimed that Arthur might have information related to national security and needed a temporary interrogation. He told the warden that this matter had to be kept confidential. The warden reminded George that since Arthur's arrival, he hadn't eaten or spoken, remaining eerily calm. With that, the guards escorted Arthur into the interrogation room. Half an hour later, George and Angela walked out of the cell, stating that Arthur had done nothing but stare at the wall, saying nothing. Then, the opening scene happened. It turned out that Arthur had already made a mask of George, which was why Angela insisted on accompanying him. When the warden closed the interrogation room door, George began to interrogate Arthur. Before he could speak, Angela suddenly stabbed him with a needle from behind. He immediately collapsed. Arthur then used a lockpick to unlock his handcuffs. The drug injected into George's body started to take effect. It turned out the syringe contained a truth serum, causing George to confess his crimes over the years and even reveal the safe's combination. Angela then pulled out a yellow liquid, which could paralyze someone into a dazed state for 24 hours. This was also why Arthur hadn't eaten or spoken in prison. Next, she took out the prepared mask. With that, the two of them successfully left the prison. Arthur, disguised as George, entered the office without raising any suspicion, even fooling the secretary. Once inside, he used the combination George had provided to open the safe. Inside were criminal records and a bank key. It was said the vault contained gold, silver, and jewels. As Arthur was sorting through the items, he suddenly heard the sound of the secretary talking on the phone. Arthur walked up, realizing it was Frank contacting the secretary. After hanging up, the secretary decided to check anyone was still inside. But when the door opened, there was no one there. By then, Arthur had already used the secret passage to leave. Just as he was about to exit, two policemen entered. They didn't even realize the criminal was right in front of them. Once again, Arthur deceived everyone. After getting into the car, he tore off the mask. Clearly, George's identity was no longer usable. But to get his hands on the gold and jewels hidden in the bank, Arthur already had a perfect plan in mind. Due to copyright restrictions, this is all the content I am able to show.